As a realtor, there are two questions we get asked very regularly. The first one is how's the market? And the second one is what do you think will happen in the market? This video will be the fourth rendition of my 2025 Toronto real estate market predictions. And if you watched the last video, I was not exactly right on everything. And this is also just for fun. If you did want to add in your predictions for 2025, drop a comment down below. And if 2025 is the year that you want to make a move in Toronto real estate, you can click on that first link down below, book in a New Year's strategy session for the month of January, and set yourself up for success in 2025. Every year around this time, I put out one of these prediction videos as it's a pretty fun way to think about what's going to happen in real estate in 2025. And let's jump right into it. Prediction number one, interest rates will continue to go down on the variable side, but remain pretty flat on the fixed side. I don't think the Bank of Canada is quite done when it comes to lowering rates. And when they lower rates, that has a direct effect on the variable rate. So we may still get some wiggle room there on the variable rate side. On the fixed side, I do feel that the bond market pricing in where rates are headed has kind of done most of the work that they're going to do. So I do feel hovering around that 4 to 4.5% on a fixed rate side for a 5-year fixed mortgage will probably be where things settle. And I actually think that's pretty good for the market from a standpoint of keeping things pretty balanced. If we start to see a 3 or 3.5% fixed rate, I do feel that'll have too big of an impact on pricing if they lower the rates too quickly, especially on the fixed side. Prediction number two, along with those rate decreases, if we start to see some stability in where rates are at, coupled in with the new mortgage rules for home buyers between that 1 to 1.5 range. And if you watch that last video, it talks about how that's one of the most prominent price ranges in the city of Toronto. We will see price growth in 2025, especially for the freehold sector between that 1 to 1.5 million, starting to raise the tide. And the properties that are actually more expensive than 1.5 million will start getting a bit of that tide rise as well. Because of the properties that are between 1 to 1.5 don't quite have the specs of the properties above, it will definitely raise the price of those properties as well. If we were to put a percentage on it, I do feel that the freehold market will go up 7 to 8% in 2025. And for condos, I think we'll see a pretty modest growth of 1 to 2%, which will most likely happen at the end of the year. Prediction number three, to tie in with that, I do feel that condos will remain pretty flat through most of 2025, and we'll start to see an uptick at the end of the year. The reason I believe that is that there's still a good amount of condos on the market, and maybe the ones that didn't sell, that took themselves off for the holidays, will come back to market. It will still take some time for those properties to be absorbed. And one thing we have noticed is that there's been 50% more 2-bedroom sales than 1-bedroom sales. So as those 1-bedrooms are currently on the market, if they start to sell, that will be the low end of the price points starting to move, which will keep the pricing down. As bigger condos continue to sell, we will see prices kind of remain a little bit sticky on an average perspective, but there are condo properties out there right now that if you wanted to really dive in and find a pretty good value condo on a price per square foot basis, they are definitely out there to start the year. I do think they'll be absorbed by the middle of the year, and then we'll start seeing that price growth through the second half of 2025. Prediction number four, this will be the year of the comeback for the Toronto real estate market. It's been 3 years since we saw the peak of the market in 2022. And while I don't believe we'll pass that number from where we saw in 2022, February, March. However, I do think that we will get some pretty good price growth. And keep in mind that 7% on the average property, if it does go up 7% next year, is about $70,000 on $1 million. So if we start seeing the $1.5 to $2 million price points take off in the next year, 7% of that is about $100,000 to $140,000 increase. So I do feel that those properties will carry a big part of the load when it comes to average pricing in the city of Toronto. And that brings me to prediction number five. We will see significantly more sales in 2025 than we did in 2024 and 2023. If you actually took 2024 and 2023 and combined them, we still would just barely be above where things were in 2021. I think we'll be more in line with around 80 to 85,000 transactions in 2025, especially if rates remain where they're at or get lower and start to stabilize. We will see more activity in the market, and that'll definitely spur the amount of transactions that happen throughout 2025. 2025. Those are my predictions, and as always, I like to talk about the Leafs. I do think they will have a pretty nice run this year. They're looking pretty sharp as they go, and goaltending's been pretty amazing so far. So hopefully that continues through 2025. Drop your comments down below if there's anything you would add to 2025 predictions. And again, if you did want to book in your strategy session on how to set yourself up for success for 2025 real estate, click on that first link down below. I'm Michael Ouzas. Thanks for watching.